Where's Wally? Where in the world's Wally tonight? Where's Wally tonight? Where is he? London, Paris, Milan, New York, San Francisco, Tokyo, India. Where are you tonight?
I'm in Edinburgh. Edinburgh as it's normally called. It's pronounced the same way as Pittsburgh. No, I'm in Edinburgh. I'm in Edinburgh. I'm in a hotel in Edinburgh.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm sort of watching there's some silly old football match on tonight. Whereas the big match is on tomorrow, Justin. Big match is tomorrow. Forest and Huddersfield. Come on, Forest.
Forest and Huddersfield.
Forest when we're back in the Premiership.
Look, we've got Mark Kerr's in tonight. Mark Kerr's must be a rugby man, not a football man, if he's not watching Liverpool tonight. I'm back in Liverpool all the way. Jurgen Klopp is my favourite German. He isn't even German, is he?
He is German. He's mad as a hatter. Yeah, I just see Madrid's 1-0 up.
Oh, at least it won't go to penalties. There you go. No. Let's see all who's saying hello tonight.
It's not finished.
Julie, it's not over until the penalties and the Malaysian gambling syndicates have spoken.
Two things. One, don't be saying that the football's corrupt. And two, don't be upset Malaysian gambling syndicates.
No. It's all right. I don't mind.
Julie, by the way, we weren't on last week, guys, because this is the first time this has happened in 2 years. Justin and I were both gainfully employed.
I know.
We had interviewed Carl Quinn. We just had it. There's absolutely no way I could have got anything put together for last week. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. She's a wonderful woman. Really, really nice one.
Good. There's John Redmond saying hello. He's saying hello. Patrick Multy saying hello. Good evening to you. And Trevor Watson saying hello. Linda Cox is saying hello. Remember, if you're watching, always hit us up on YouTube and hit subscribe there. And when you comment on the main feed on Facebook or YouTube, and then that way we can read it out. Let me see. William McClellan is Oma.
Oh my God!
I should say Omaha instead of Oma.
Funny, I've got 6 people from Nebraska with me here at the minute. They're from Nebraska. Yeah. Oh, did you know? By the way, did you know it's illegal to go whaling in Nebraska?
Oh, that would be slightly difficult because it's inland.
Yes, but they passed the law just to make sure that anybody who fancied whaling couldn't do it if they were in Nebraska.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Tony saying hello, and James is in sunny Belfast. Actually, we've got to give an apology to Bill Franks because he looked us up in Belfast and we weren't there to say hello to him. So Bill, really sorry about that, and the Canadian Association, sorry about that. Best laid plans doesn't work out.
And
it's the Bluegrass Festival. It's the Bluegrass Festival, so that's what's happening tonight. Very nice, yeah. Appalachian Hills Bluegrass Festival at Ulster American Folk Park, it must be. Jordy Burke saying hello, evening all to
Jordy,
you.
how are you, buddy? Keeping well, hope.
Good.
Trust.
There's somebody new. Philippi Nunes from Bray. Yes, I know Bray extremely well. There nice. You go.
Is that the place with the big telescope? Is Bray the place with the big telescope? Is it? I think it is.
I think it might be. But it's a for looking out to sea telescope. It's not a.
No, it's the old big massive telescope that they built. It was the biggest in the world for years and years and years. I think it's in Bray.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right. And Mark Kerr saying he loves a bit of bluegrass. Yes, your sound system costs more than Marty's whiskies. Yes, I've tried to explain this to Marty, but he doesn't believe me. But you know, it does. It's technology. It's technology. I know that. Mark.
I was in St Andrews yesterday, and I got some books. So we got.
Can you read?
I'll tell you what I can do. I can stick these down your throat next time I see you.
I thought you just looked at the pictures like myself. Illicit Scotch.
Yeah.
Oh, is the subtitle of that? Is that subtitle of that Nicola woman?
Oh yes, no, Nicola Sturgeon's very ill with COVID at the minute. I wish her a very speedy-ish recovery. No, but anyway, no, I shouldn't.
All right.
Yeah, no.
I wish a speedy death, but there you go.
No, this here's. I've read about half of this already. That's pretty good. And the Whiskies of Scotland, an older book.
They're looking very good, Nick, for old books, don't they?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's been loads of whiskey books published years ago, that basically all out of print. So those are reasonably cheap. I mean, I think it was for like a tenner each or something. But yeah. So got those picked up, and I'm having a little beer tonight because my my driver and stuff have been having a few beers this week, and so I'm not a massive beery fan. This stuff is Carlsberg, but since Liverpool and all's playing, it's a sort of nod to their past kind of thing. But it's all right.
Okay.
Once in a
right.
while, these things are all right.
It is. I had Estrella tonight, Barcelona and beer. That's not bad.
Oh, I thought you said Stella.
No, Estrella, that one.
Estrella, that's all right. Yeah,
That's not too bad. Goes well with crisps and nuts and chocolate and sweets,
Aye,
canapes,
aye. I had
stew.
antipasto lunch today from an Italian restaurant, paid for by someone else.
Oh,
Oh
very
yes,
nice.
very nice it was. Very nice indeed.
Very nice indeed. Shall I hit the button?
Hit it.
There we go. Lovely stuff.
Top stuff. Yeah, news. Now, we should have done this last week, but we couldn't get a chance. Glenfarclas and the break-in at the visitor centre in Glenfarclas. Now, police are appealing for any information relating to the break-in at the distillery. 2 men took 4 minutes to break in and make off with the family Cask range. No.
Where were you? Where were you?
I was nowhere near Glenfarclas. I was nowhere near up near Aberdeen. Now, the bottles that they took are from the family Cask range, and they go from 1954 to the 1975 bottles, and a 60-year-old Glenfarclas. Yeah. The estimated value of these somewhere between 100 and 150,000 pound.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's. I think I think a lot of these distilleries, because they're sort of fairly remote, and well, a lot of them probably never expected break-ins to take this stuff, but they're basically in it like no time. So police are looking for people who've maybe stayed in the area, Airbnbs and this kind of thing, because obviously they must have visited the distillery to see what was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if anyone has any information, you are to contact Crime Stoppers in 0800 555 111, or even ring the distillery in 01 807 500 345. Yeah, so it's unfortunate this stuff's going to happen. But people are going to try and break in because they're so valuable these days.
They're not going to be able to get rid of any of those bottles, are they? Because
I would imagine what they'll probably do is they'll have somebody lined up to buy them, and to be fair, they can't be bought at auction, so it's not as if they're totally unique bottles.
They would be traceable, but those bottles would be traceable surely from the label and the pictures and
no, but I would sincerely doubt it, to be honest. But if someone's being offered these real cheap, the alarm bells will start to ring. So anyway,
Dimitri, not now, Dimitri. Thank you.
Aye, but no, I mean it's just a crying shame.
I am joking. So there you go. That's pretty rough. Pretty rough indeed. Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of these little distilleries, they probably don't have massive security in anything other than the warehouse. John Remus said, "Would you buy one from a car boot? I think he means if offered. If I was offered those at a car boot sale, I would have to say,
no, I would not, because it'd be a charlatan trying to swizz you. Give us $1,000 for this. It's worth 10. Don't think so. But it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true, and I don't engage in criminality. There you go.
No, well, the thing about it is, it is a criminal offence. So it's a bit of a bad show, to be honest. These guys that's probably all they have of it. You know, I don't know. But just it's a bad thing. Anyway, right.
Anyway, will they've gone foreign? Or will it be in the UK? There's Gary Malloy saying hello from Finland.
Donegal Silky fan. Hey, good man. I'm sure everybody likes Silky. Everybody likes Silky. How can you not? It's lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Yeah. So anyway, keep your eye out for any of the Glenfarclas. Now, remember a few weeks ago we said the world. It's a bit deceptive, this, by the way. The world's biggest whiskey bottle was going on sale, but they've taken all the whiskey out of it and put it in the other bottles.
I remember this, yeah.
Right. Well, it went to auction this week, and it sold for 1.1 million. Well, £1,105,000 to be exact. So well below the 1.2 million paid for a 60-year-old 1926 Macallan in 2019.
So it's this one here. It's this one that will not fire. It's firing. Is it firing? It is firing. Yes. It looks like a normal sized bottle, but it's absolutely massive in real life.
Aye, well, it is. But the one thing, hang on, I want to check the website here. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 lots up for sale. And there was some miniatures. Now, bearing in mind, this is a 32-year-old Macallan. These days, I mean, Macallan, it's nearly as expensive as diesel. But a 32-year-old Macallan miniature selling for £625. But it goes up, and there was actually a lot that wasn't sold. It's a complete set of 12 50cl bottlings of the Intrepid collection, which strikes me as a bit odd, because either they had a massive reserve on it and people weren't prepared to pay it, or well, not even that. I'm not 100% sure why, because Macallan these days, everything about it just goes nuts, and yet there's a lot that didn't sell, an exclusive bottling. Seems a bit odd to me, but they must have too high a reserve on it.
Couldn't be doing a Damien Hirst and buying their own stuff, could they?
Well, I don't think so, because this was for a charity, but there you go. But to give you a perspective on this, right? That big bottle had 311 litres in it, right? 311 litres, whereas the 1926 Macallan was just a standard 70cl bottle. So the 311 litre bottle was £3,553 a litre, right? The other one is 1.7 million a litre. So what's that telling you about the liquid?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
There's just a disparity there somewhere.
It's just silly. It's just nuts. It's just mental.
It is.
It's not even as if you get this giant bottle anymore. They've all bottled. So it's nuts. It's just nuts. And you have to take it all straight away. Yeah. So as I say, Macallan's nearly as expensive as diesel these days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next up, still no word on whether people are winning the lottery, or they're getting their hands on the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast 30-year-old double cask, hand-picked by Billy Layton and Dave McCabe. So it's going to be €550 should you win the lottery, win the raffle, and it's 56.9%. To be fair, out of the bottles that they're going to release, many of them's going to be drunk.
Not very many. Very many.
Yeah, put like this, I've entered the ballot. If I win one, I would always be in two minds whether to open it or not. Because to be honest with you, if someone turns around and offers you €2,000 for a bottle, you could triple your money. Anyway, it's just. I think that's just the way of things, just for the time being. But there you
go. Okay. Where are we heading next?
We're going for competition time. To win a limited edition bottle of 2008 Caron Space 8 bottle. Now, there is a web page Yep, that's the bottle. And should you wish to win a bottle of this, you go to the link, put up the link for the Google Documents.
Hold on to find it because I can show it as well, I think.
Mm.
So that's the link. And it's a Google Docs. You fill it in. Works best if you're logged in using Google. So an Android phone or a Chromebook, and that is it there. And I'll also show you the page. I'll show you the page as well, what the page looks like. If it does render, I think it has. So there we go. That's what it looks like.
I just fill it in. Now it's to do with the Scotsman newspaper. They're doing this. There's two. The answer, by the way, is B249.
Mm-hmm.
So fill that in, and you have a chance. Now I think the reason this is called Curran is because it's very near the Dalhoun Distillery, who don't really make anything to release themselves. Now, again, it's owned by Diageo, but they don't make anything for themselves to put out themselves. They make it for blends. So I don't think I've probably ever had one of these. I don't think I can't remember ever having one, which is a bit of a pity. But
why is this so special, Marty?
Well, it's not that it's particularly special. It's an independent bottler called Time and Place. And this is £60 a bottle. It's a 13-year-old single malt of something that's a little bit different, And if I'm honest, £70 for something a little bit unusual, well, I think that's pretty decent value for money, and you're getting a chance to win it. So yeah, I think it's worth putting your name in the hat, because this is one that if you did win, you'll just drink. Whereas the Dreamcast one, you're going to make a bit of money on. That's essentially what you'll buy it for. That's essentially what most people will buy it for. Whereas if you enter this competition, you get this for free.
Good.
Well, I certainly think so. Now, next up, we've got a long liver again, folks. Yo, another long liver. Someone who drinks whiskey and hasn't decided to die on us. Justin. Yes. Now, this woman's in Malta. Edith Malia. She's 100 years of age. And what she says, and she's quoted in the Times of Malta, as saying, I get up, have a shower, breakfast, a tot of whiskey, no medicine, and head off to my work.
And how old is she?
She's 100 years old and 1 month.
And she goes to work.
And apparently she worked in a clothes shop. So scroll down and let her see her wee face. Look at her, she's as bright as a button.
Well, she looks fairly fresh, yeah.
She looks fresh, yep. And she's 100 years old and has a tot of whiskey just after breakfast every morning and heads off to her work. What's not to like?
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Pretty good going. Pretty good going. Would you like to live that long?
Well, I'd prefer it to dying, if I'm totally honest. Call me old-fashioned, Justin, but I would prefer to live a fair while rather than dying. Yeah.
All right. Maybe so.
Look at this. Talk about a stereotype. Sort of ginger wee hairy coo with a tam shanter on.
Have you given him a name? Is it called Angus?
No.
It's a cow. It must be female. You have to call it a girl's name. Nicola. Call it Nicola.
He's Clyde.
Clyde?
Yeah.
Clyde.
Yeah, like the River Clyde, even though we're in Edinburgh. Yeah.
Why did they not call it the Tay? Or the Forth?
I don't know. The Forth Bridge is just over here, by the way. I love the Forth Bridge. I love it. It's absolutely amazing.
You'd like a job painting it? Hello, you can't. There isn't a job painting it anymore because the paint lasts forever now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
John Redmond likes the idea of whiskey for breakfast.
What's wrong with it? A wee nip of whiskey seemingly does every time you read about someone who lives a long time, they always say, "Oh, I have a wee nip of whiskey. Keeps me going."
That is true. I
Yeah,
must admit
that's what it is. Tell
that
you,
does ring a bell.
whiskey lives forever, and if you drink a wee bit of it every day, there you go. You'll laugh. You're laughing. Now, because I'm in Scotland, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the Scotchy things and whatnot I've been doing. What I've been things that I've been to. I'm going to one again tomorrow, uh, and this is all to do with work because when tourists are over, guests are over in Scotland, obviously they want to go and do uh, some sort of Scotch experience. So we'll put it like this: I picked this up the other day. Da, 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 da. Clan Macaulay, Clan Malt. I can't even remember where I got that. I know it's a bit gimmicky, but
Is there really a Clan Macaulay?
of course it's a Clan Macaulay.
But you're MCA and
Uh,
that's
uh,
MAC.
that's just a difference in spelling of the name. No, that's my clan. That's my proper clan tartan. That's
Okay.
it. And to be fair, so some of these people in the clan things are a bit. No, but there's a proper clan. Don't be.
Have you ever
I
wore a skirt? Have you ever wore a skirt?
I will wear. I'd wear a kilt, no problem, buddy. Absolutely no
Okay.
problem at all.
Right.
I think I'd look. I think I could work a kilt. I think I would look pretty damn good in a kilt, son.
You might do. You might do.
Why wouldn't
Y-
I?
y- y- Well, you look a bit harder and tougher than me, you see. Whereas if I wore a kilt, I would get propositioned.
You'd look
I'd be
like George. You'd look like George the Fourth when he arrived in Edinburgh in his kilt.
I'd be one of the 67 genders.
Well, put like this. Have you ever seen the statue of George the Fourth wearing his kilt in the city? What happened was he was quite a large man, and his kilt was a little bit skimpy. So he wore pink stockings and a sort of a mini kilt. And some lady, I can't remember, was it the lady of Montrose or something? She says we haven't we haven't seen a king up here for ages, but we're seeing quite a lot of this one. So if you see the statue, he's got a wee sort of mini kilt on. He's like, uh, James is mocking my legs. James, I'd let you know, son, I've got bloody good legs. You know. Now, I know this kind of stuff's a bit gimmicky, right? But as I say before, I like a gimmick. I don't mind a gimmick when it's basically just set in front of you. It's whenever
Mhm.
they do the gimmicky thing and let on that it's got some sort of heritage and all that, it's a bit pish.
Yes.
But so the likes of this, there's nothing wrong with these kind of things because people take them home and they're buying Scotch whiskey, whether it's great Scotch whiskies, and it's kind of irrelevant. But they buy it and they take it home, and who knows, maybe open up some night for a bit of a laugh and have a drink with her. And it's nice. I like this kind of thing.
And it gets them to try a better one. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
when we're on these tours, as kind of as a free gift to the people that are here, what I do is I do a little whiskey masterclass with them, and I normally do it in the Raffle Palace up in Pitlochry because it just sort of suits where we are. It's a big, massive old hotel. I love it. I genuinely think it's an amazing place. But we go down, and what I do is I tell them what to buy. Now, I don't get paid for this. This is just something that I do for a bit of a laugh by the groups. And again, they come down and they go and buy an Edredure. So Edredure Distillery's like 3 miles up the road from the hotel. And down they come and they talk them through a bit about the history, a little bit of the science and chemistry of it, and then you do an appreciation. And it's surprising. I had a girl today, and she lives in Virginia, and she came up to me and she said, "I really, really loved the whiskey thing you did the other night because it's I've a newfound appreciation for whiskey, and it's that getting people from I can't drink it. It's too strong. Blah, blah,
It's an abstract thing for them, and then it brings it home, makes
brings
it
it
real.
back.
Yeah.
Now, if this kind of stuff gets them to take it home, and somebody maybe opens it up, or they buy a full bottle of it at one of the castles that all the castles and stuff these days have their own bottlings and whatnot, and all of this sort of gimmicky stuff takes it across. Then if you have a little bit of a tasting, and you say, right, this is how you do it, because I'm not trying to sell whiskey, so I do something a little bit different than everybody else. So when they go to the distillery, um, you have this sort of uh, appreciation, and they go, this isn't tricky, and it shouldn't be. But when you watch some of the reviewers and stuff, and they go on and on and on and on and on about different tasting notes and stuff, it shouldn't be complicated. So it's just a really nice icebreaker, and I'm really glad John's saying about trying the editor 2009. I do the one that's straight from the cask, and the reason I do that is because I can talk about cask strengths. I can talk about what's the difference between single malt, because people get really confused in the terminology, and it becomes really, really easy, and they can hang their hat on it a lot quicker, and it works really well,
Yeah, certainly a nice thing to do. What does that taste like? You're normally pretty good at telling where it's from and what it is.
This is a 40% blend, so it's kind of hard to tell, but
Right.
oh no, it's a single malt. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I've no
Needs a
idea.
Coke.
No, I've no idea where it's from, to be honest. It's pleasant enough.
Inoffensive. Just what you
Yep.
need in a wee thing. What sort of money was on that? Fiver? Tenner?
Yeah, I think it was maybe £6. I know where I bought it. I bought it at Glam's Castle. Yeah, I bought it the other day at Glam's Castle, but it's like £6. So people can
Mm-hmm.
buy that. It's cheaper than getting a shot out the hotel.
That's the one the Queen Mother liked, isn't it?
What?
Glam's Castle,
Oh
wasn't
no,
it?
that's where she was born. That's where
That's
she
where
grew
she
up.
was born. Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
that's where her dad was. It's always funny when you do these kind of things and you tell everybody. You do know that the Queen is half Scottish. What? Yeah. It's like, yeah, the Queen Mother was Scottish, and she was quite resolutely and quite proud of being Scottish. That's why she bought the Castle of May way up at the top on the north coast. So yeah, so, as I say, the likes of that is really inoffensive. Doing those whiskey tastings in the Raffle Palace, because what happens is the next day they go to the Blair Raffle Distillery. Now, the Blair Raffle Distillery, a lot of people don't know about it, because they don't release their own stuff. But I mean, it's a beautiful distillery. I mean, it really is a beautiful distillery. And what they do is they make the malt for the content in bales. So that's pretty much all they do. And there's loads of people don't rate Bell's whiskey, or they don't rate blends, they don't all this kind of stuff. But the thing is, loads of people do drink it, because that's why they're
Mm-hmm.
there. So
And whiskies used to be blends, and that was the whole concept of it, really.
about 90% of whiskey that's sold is blends. So whenever people kind of look down on them, if you have a blend that you enjoy having a drink of, don't ever listen to a whiskey snob telling you, "Oh no, you shouldn't be drinking that. I only drink 12-year-old single malts." Yeah, I have loads of.
I love your little Britain accent when
Ah,
you try to put on a Scottish accent.
but it does.
uh,
Genuinely, if I was drinking this tonight, okay, monkey shoulder.
all right.
Now,
As well as
this,
one's monkeypox, you're all right.
aye, but well, right enough, monkeypox. Apparently, there's a case of it not too far away from here. So, hand sanitizer, does that work for monkeypox?
It's coming back again. It's coming back again. Where's my sachet?
No, but I mean, the likes of this is like 25 quid a bottle, and it's batch 27, so I assume it's like 20 or sort of limited batches. There's bloody nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's decent enough free whiskey. I bought that about a week and a bit ago. I've been polishing off rightly by the look of it. But yeah, so whenever you're talking about the Irish whiskey and it's going to overtake Scotch, there's loads of really decent, good quality Scotches, and the experiences of them are really good. Some of them really good. Edritor, I was at Edritor's still currently closed.
Right. Has Bushmills reopened yet? Has it? I
Yeah,
don't think it has.
Bushmills has reopened.
Right.
It's so you have Editor still shot. I mean, it's like picture postcard, beautiful. I mean, really, really nice. And Editor, for some reason, a lot of people aren't that wild struck on it, but I think it's a super little place.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a nice enough whiskey, but some people for some reason just don't like it. Now, the straight from the cask stuff is one of the things I do is people set it out, and then every other taste, I put one drop of water in it and tell them to leave it for a couple of minutes and try it. Who just knows it. They'll be drinking it. If it's their husband or wife, fair enough, they can take a drink of it. But they knows it, and they're like, "My God, that's totally changed." And this is a surprise to a lot of people. They don't realise this sort of interplay and interaction. So as you're moving on, but this here again, I'm just trying this. That's all right, you know. But the Blair Raffle Distillery, I see Mark Kerr saying the Blair Raffle was a pleasant surprise. The way they handle the tours, because they sit right down on the main road through Pitlochry, is just superb. The guys that are there, Stuart and Callum and these guys, they're churning through a lot of people. I mean, a huge volume of people. And they have a set sort of script to do, okay? But they never make it feel as if it's rushed, or they never make it feel as if it's a, an inconvenience to them. I've been, and this is a feeling on some of the whiskey experiences I've done in Ireland. Some of them just aren't.
In, out, shake it all about.
Well, I mean, there's one in particular. And I'm not. Do you name names? Do you? Do you criticise somebody, or do you not? No. I was at a whiskey experience. It was just awful. It was just bloody awful. It was cliched, inaccurate, stupid, the whole heap. And they're probably not putting. They're not putting through, even at pre-COVID, a tenth of the people the Blair Raffle Distillery are putting through. And the Blair Raffle Distillery is a distillery that most people don't know, and yet they have the timings of it perfect. They have the right gauging of interest. They have the guys are really knowledgeable of what they're talking about, and it just works. Just works. It's a beautiful location. You know, it just really works. You know.
Did you see the result that's popped up on my screen there?
Yeah, I'm just sort of watching it out of the corner of my eye. I was watching Van Dyke.
No, I think Mark's thinking it's the one in Dublin where the last third killed them.
Yep.
That's more or less.
That was
Yeah.
it. I mean, it was shit on a level that was just mind boggling. The girl doing the tasting, arguing with the tasting notes of the blender who professionally works there, works on the whiskey. Who you got to trust? But it was shit on a level beyond it. And the point I'm trying to make, I think, is that these whiskey experiences that you get in Scotland, some of them are utterly fantastic. Now there's another one. I'm going there again tomorrow, and it's the Scotch whiskey experience in the Royal Mile. It's up very near the castle, and they have spent. I mean, it's another Diageo who obviously can just throw whatever money they like at stuff, but it's really good, but there's a real feeling in it when you do the experience. No, not that one, Justin. That's off.
Oh,
You're not. You have the Scotch whisky experience. We've got the wee video coming up. You go in, you do the tour. They've got a wee jaunty car thing like they have at Titanic and stuff, and you go through and they talk about how whiskey came about and all this kind of stuff. And then they've got the collection. They bought this off this Brazilian guy, and you can do a tasting there. But they set out, you get like 2 whiskies from the 5 regions in Scotland, and it's the problem is you get 2, and they say, "Oh, this is a sweeter style, and this is a peaty style," and you're like, "Well, why can I not just drink all 5 of them?" It's just a bit nuts. And the ones that they tell you, they don't. Some of them they don't actually stock in the shop, so you might try it and then go down the stairs and not.
you can't get it. That's a bit weird.
I mean, this is
There's
casual. You know?
There's John Redmond saying, do you think Ireland is yet to really embrace Scotch? People I talk to seem to really be sticking to Irish. Well, that's because the product here is as good as anywhere. That's why. There's nothing wrong with Scotch, but the local product's as good as anywhere, and there's lots and lots of exciting things going on in Ireland.
Yeah, there's loads and loads of exciting things, but I think it'll probably surprise you how much Scotch Irish people drink.
There you go. Mark Redmond says about half his bottles are Scotch.
The vast majority of mine are Scotch. I have loads of Irish stuff, but my collectible stuff, probably 2/3 of it's Irish. The actual stuff I have opened, if I'm going through, 60% of it's probably Scotch, I would have thought. Yeah, 60%. That's maybe a wee bit off, but no, Irish people drink an awful lot of Scotch. Scotch is, and the thing is, Scotch whisky has, I mean, it's just an enormous, it's a total behemoth that Ireland, all of this, Irish whiskey, you keep reading all this, oh, it's going to overtake Scotch in 5-10 years' time, whatever. It's not. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's not. Because the Scottish whiskey industry, some of the stuff that they come out with and some of the stuff that they're doing is really innovative, whether you like it or not. I mean, Glenmorangie, we talked about this a few weeks ago, doing the smoky stuff, all the botanicals. But
bit bizarre.
It's a bit, I mean, it's not traditional, but then again, who knows what there's loads of stuff that isn't traditional that's happening in Scotch whisky these days, but they'll not rest on their laurels, and they'll keep going. I mean, Tony has brought up there the price of older Irish whiskey. I mean, is it triple? Would it be triple what it is in Scotland? Probably. And that's obviously going to have its own effect. People aren't made of money. Yeah, an 18-year-old Glenlivet for €60. €60 for an 18-year-old whiskey. Try buying an 18-year-old Irish whiskey and see what it's going to cost you. I mean, it
is. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to reconcile.
Yeah, but there's more.
Oh. Do you want we drink? Do you want we drink of water or beer? Should I hit the video to show them what they expect of the Scotch whisky experience?
Yeah, because I like to remind myself what it is for tomorrow.
Here we go. There you go.
Yeah, well, put it like this: when you go up into the collection, there's like 4,500 bottles or something, and you go into the collection. They tell you you're not allowed to take photographs, so that's why I wouldn't put them up. But it is impressive. I mean, there's bottles in there that God knows what they're worth. I mean, they paid millions for it. So you're walking around seeing these old bottles, recognizable bottles, bottles of Macallan and bottles of Springbank and Glen and stuff that the guy was collecting for years and years and years. Now, in Belfast, when Willie Jack opens his, I would imagine that'll be something, probably something similar. That's going to be
I mean,
something.
looks like a good day out. That there looks like
Yeah,
a good
well,
day out to
it
go
is.
through everything with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's superb. Mark's saying about Caden heads down the Royal Mile. You get down in there. I mean, Christ Almighty, you're buying. You get down there and buying Ghost Distillery stuff. I mean, I showed you this, the canvas stuff. It was a 21-year-old canvas for £100. 21-year-old whiskey from a Ghost Distillery for like 100. I think it was 100, £120. And honestly, the way Scotland has a lot of the whiskey stuff sewn up, Ireland really needs to learn from them. And the innovation that's in Ireland is superb, but there's nothing wrong with sort of catching on to the coattails of Scotland because it's just nailed on with some of the things over here. They do get it wrong occasionally. I never tried this. I would love to see this. I'd love to see this appearing at an auction because I would definitely buy this. It's a pre-mixed whiskey blend that like ready to drink Alto Pop. I've lost your sound, buddy. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you, but bring up the Bell's Iron Brew bottling. Now that should be appearing at an auction somewhere. Yeah, Justin's gone all quiet. That's a first. No, it's never happened before. So yeah, Bell's Iron Brew. I'd love to get a bottle of that sometime. We can't hear you. You've obviously turned the sound off.
It's a new.
It sort of popped in and then dropped out of it again. So you did. But no, Bell's an Iron Brew in a bottle. This has to appear at an auction somewhere. I mean, look at it. It's funny. Yes, Mark, yes. My drink of choice when I was a young kid was Clan Dew, the fine blend of Scotch whisky and English wine. It was basically known as rocket fuel. And it was a bizarre drink, Clan Dew. Aye, nuts. But Bell's an Iron Brew, a short-lived drink, I believe. Don't think there was a huge amount of ever sold.
Can you hear me again?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you again.
I didn't change any of my settings whatsoever, but all of a sudden it decided that's the nature of these Rode mics. They tend to do that sometimes. So brilliant sound, but then it decides not to do brilliant sound.
Now, Gareth says you can't improve on Iron Brew.
I love Iron Brew.
I love Iron Brew.
I thought the new one, the extra is pretty good, and the sugar-free one's as good as the original.
No,
I
it's
think.
not. Oh no, the diet one's bloody awful, man. It's atrocious. But
I'd love to get my hands on that. That's bound to be good.
Iron Brew whiskey cocktails. But I've told that story before, haven't I?
No, I think I've got Iron Brew downstairs. I'm going to have an Iron Brew and whiskey cocktail tonight. I've never tried it before.
Well, Iron Brew, Iron Brew's banned at Turnberry. The golf resort that's owned by President Trump.
What do you do that for? I've gone off Trump now.
Because if you spill it, apparently it turns the carpet orange.
Oh, right.
Now,
Does he
has, it,
wash his hair in it or something like that there?
has anybody seen the color of President Trump? You know, the irony's not lost on people with this, you know. But yeah, Iron Brew's banned at Turnberry. Nuts. But no,
Well,
Iron Brew. Whenever you see the tankers of it and stuff floating about, it's dead funny.
fighting juice, Tony Sillett calls it. I thought that was Buckfast was fighting juice. Yeah.
Yeah. James is asking me to get off the fence with the sugar-free stuff. Sugar-free Iron Brew's bloody awful. It's
I like it. I
it's
like it. I like it.
atrocious. And the thing is, it's a bit weird for me because I could drink Diet Coke and I can't drink ordinary Coke. It's just
I like Coke. I like Coke Zero, but I'm not that fussed in Diet Coke.
I've always liked Diet Coke. It's just I think it's maybe just what I've been used to. But sugar-free Iron Brew is just bloody atrocious. Trump banned Iron Brew for being the only thing more orange than him.
I know.
Yeah. No, but yeah, as I say, over in Scotland, I've been doing these whiskey experiences, going through doing all this other bits and pieces, and some of the stuff they have here is just nailed on. Whether it's through experience, design, whatever, I don't know, but they really have got some stuff nailed down, and there's a reason that Scotland is still the preeminent place for whiskey, and people from the States will always say, "Oh, I like a Scotch. What about Irish Scotch?" And they'll say that, and what they mean is Irish whiskey, because it's so synonymous with Scotland that Irish Scotch, and you say, "Well, that don't get Irish Scotch," and people think, "Oh my God, these Americans they have no clue about such a," but it's the same as saying Holland. If everybody knows you mean the Netherlands, you know, it's the same thing. It's just such a synonymous thing with cereal spirit, if you like, that they just
Maybe Irish whiskey needs a rebrand. Maybe they need to call it something completely, totally different.
But it's not. That's the point. It's not totally different. It's just a different regional variation of where really bourbon. If they sort of followed the same logic, they would say, "Oh, I love that bourbon Scotch," because it's kind of the same ballpark, but they just it's so synonymous with sort of single malt. Yeah, Peter's saying Hoover and vacuum cleaner. It's exactly the same thing.
I know that, or iPod and MP3 player. Now, let me see. What we should go for is we should call it maybe Hikes, Hykes. Hikes would be a good name for it, or Ways, we could call it, or Yikes, or maybe Shake or Hikes. What about that? For that uses 5 letters. That's a good anagram generator, is it not? Does that not work?
What are you talking about? I'm
Rebranding whiskey, calling it something different. No?
Nah. Because it's whenever people start arguing over, oh, how do you spell it? Oh, how do you spell it? As if every whiskey fan in the world's like dyslexic and doesn't know how you spell the bloody thing. Do you know what I mean? Spell it what way you want. Sorry, don't let you swear. Justin's very sorry, I'm not allowed to swear. But no,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we spell it with an E. And you go with these play whiskey bingo. Are they going to mention that E stands for excellent? Yep, okay, dead on. E stands for, we don't spell it with an E. I mean, Scotland has enough confidence to don't worry about that. You know, so there's loads of stuff that you see guys doing on tours in Scotland. They just have it nailed. I mean, they really do. That whiskey experience that I'm going on again tomorrow. I think I'm going on it tomorrow. I can't remember. My wee head's pickled. I finish a tour tomorrow morning and then start another one tomorrow afternoon. So I have to figure out who you're doing with what. But they that whiskey experience, they go through it. And okay, again, the wee ride through it's a bit gimmicky. So what? It's just nice, you know. It's just a nice thing. And I've by the end of these tours, I always have whiskey comforts. Always have whiskey comforts.
There you go. Mark Kerr says Dyson is a really expensive Hoover. I prefer Henry's myself.
Oh, I know you like Henry's. You don't know that nickname, do you? Henry Halls.
No.
That's all right. I'll explain it off camera because I'm not allowed to tell you that.
All right. Okay.
But no, as I say, going through the whole Scotland, I was over in Skye. There's new distilleries opening up on Skye, Torp Haig. Going up through where was I last week? You know, you're heading up towards Inverness on through on up to Nairn and stuff. And it is. I mean, you walk into some of the bars. I was in Glasgow last week, and people talk about Irish whiskey bars. You walk into the Pot Still bar in Glasgow, and it's just an amazing bar. I mean, people talk about the Bon Accord, and I had two old age pensioners who had Googled best bar in Glasgow, and I told them to go to the Bon Accord. So they hired a taxi, went down to the board. One of them doesn't even drink, but she went down. It's arguably loads of people tell you it's the best whiskey bar in the world, but I prefer the Pot Still, if I'm totally honest. And you walk up and go into the Pot Still, and the guys behind the bar are so knowledgeable, and they're so knowledgeable about Scotch, primarily, obviously, but they're so knowledgeable about Irish whiskey and bourbon. They have a whiskey of the month or week or whatever, I can't remember, and it's like £2.50 for a decent whiskey, and you're sitting there thinking, where are these, like, the equivalents in Ireland? Because there's a few of them, but they're not just the same. They're not just the same, because in Ireland it'll be all Irish whiskey, pretty much. They won't have the same knowledge of Scotch, and they won't have the same knowledge of bourbon, and they certainly won't have the selection, because in the Pot Still bar they have dozens of bottles of Irish whiskey, and the way they do it, you go in and you ask for I'd like a 12-year-old sherry, and they go, smell that, smell that, smell that, smell that. What one do you want? Oh, I'll try that one, and they have it done. And up and down. Now, the two girls that I'm telling you about, the guy behind the counter was in a kilt. So every drink they were ordering, he was in the top shelf every time. Apparently. Up he goes. Yeah. But no, it's just funny, you know. But when you see the comparisons between Ireland and the sort of fledgling Irish whiskey stuff, because it still is, and you see the stuff in Scotland and how well versed some people are in whiskey in some of the bars, and to be fair, even up, some of the Scotch guys are crap too. You know, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but some of the sort of ordinary bar staff, well, they're not that well versed in what they're talking about, to be honest.
Is there a problem with a lot of new people doing things now, Marty?
Well, you and I both know
people aren't trained up.
Staff shortages. Staff shortages all over the place for everything, and that's seems to be everywhere. I mean, the guys from the States are telling me it's pretty much the same over there. Because COVID has just distorted everything so much that people are running around doing jobs that they're really not trained for.
Where's everybody going?
You tell me. I think they all retired and there was no training done between in 2 years. Everybody that was going to retire, well, put it like this: everybody that was going to retire, basically stayed on because they were getting paid COVID money to stay on. Nobody was being replaced, and then they all retired, and there's nobody was trained up. So,
yeah, who knows? Who knows what's around the corner? Sure, it could be. At least I'm trained. in firearms in case World War III does come. That would be a useful addition to my skill set.
Yeah, but like this, I can do the running. You just try it.
Oh no, you never run from a dinosaur.
Oh
You
no,
always
I don't know.
you always attack it.
Oh, listen. Aye, right. Aye.
I'll tell you my dinosaur story. Do you know in a place
Jurassic Justin.
do you know in a place the size of Ireland? Do you know how many Tyrannosaurus Rexes there would have been in the area the size of Ireland?
Well, they've never found. I think
One. There only been one in the area the size of Ireland. Should have probably never met it.
Justin, you talk, and I'm going to swear again. You talk huge amounts of shit, but I think you've possibly hit
Well, I
peak
know people say humans weren't here
bullshit.
when dinosaurs were here, but of course they were. Of course they were.
What? Right. Okay. But like as in Ireland, I think they found like 3 dinosaur bones in the entire Ireland island.
I know.
And there's one from Glenarm, by the way, which they studied and all, and then about 20 years later found out it was a fake.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
Why? The Glenarm dinosaur bone.
Who planted that one there?
I'm going to say Stevie. Stevie down in Stevie's bar. Might have been. God, I can't wait to get back and get a pint of Guinness this week. I go home and
there's Peter Stewart. He says there would only ever be one if it never met a partner. Good point, Peter. Good point.
See, you talk bollocks.
May laid eggs. Who knows?
Yeah, you talk some
shit.
Like
asexual reproduction. There you go, Peter. Don't get me started. What's that one?
Oh, Abelur. That's Gaelic words. I can't spell Gaelic words. Abelur Amnath is on batch 70 plus. Ireland has a bit of catching up to do. But they do. I mean, Ireland has so much ground to gain on Scotch. And it's going to take a long time to be up there. And they need the markets. They need the tourism as well. They need the confidence as well. I mean, there's loads of confidence in the Irish whiskey market. But I had a bit of a weird experience about 2 months ago, where someone told me that a big brand didn't want to confuse Irish and Scotch whiskey. Surely Irish whiskey has enough confidence to say we stand at our own 2 feet, you know. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird experience, but that's what it is.
Well, anyway, a lovely box for World Whiskey Day arrived here, so I've got Parr's World Whiskey Day box for you here. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. We missed World Whiskey Day because.
Yep.
Well, I missed it because I was working
on the road.
Okay.
On
the road.
We've a special guest coming up in the next couple of weeks, don't we?
Who?
I thought you said we did.
No. I never said. I don't tell you anything, Justin.
I know.
But like this, see this morning when you sent me an email, what are we doing tonight? What was my response?
Don't know.
Exactly.
Hence the show titled "Much Ado About Nothing Tonight." We haven't had a yarn in a while, anyway.
It's just a bit of a yarn, and it's always nice. But it's just being over in Scotland and just sort of absorbing the different things that happen in Scotland and the way things are going. And Peter Stewart, we need fertilizer. But what they can do, what we should do in Northern Ireland is export fertilizer. We have more than enough. But what we need to do is if we can get Stormont back together again, the amount of fertilizer that's produced in bullshit from everybody, from all of them, we could export it. It's just nuts. It's nuts. But no, in Scotland, the whole thing tonight was I'm doing these whiskey experiences across various bits and pieces, and honestly, there's loads of stuff that they just have nailed. I've been around a lot of the Irish stuff, and I don't think with probably exception of Bow Street, they have it very slick done, really well done in there. I think the rest of them just have to be come over and do more of the Scotch experiences, and I think you'll probably find that a lot of them are really, really, really good, really good.
Hmm. Uh, did we miss something out? Did we?
I
Uh,
don't know.
what about the Block Bar?
Aye, that's Johnny Walker's released. Oh Christ, their first NFT thingy whiskey, such and such. It's a block bar, and I seen it the other day, and it's like, what the hell is this? This is going to cost you $35,000, dollars or pounds, dollars, um, for a 40-something-year-old uh, Johnny Walker, Masters of Flavor. Um, but you get a bit of digital art with it, apparently. What? I mean, what is this?
I don't know. I don't know
I
what it
don't know.
is, but
And
it
I'm
ain't
getting
whiskey.
really,
It ain't whiskey to me. That's like
uh,
that's like a perfume.
yeah. And it comes in a wooden box, and that's a big selling point, apparently. It comes in a bloody wooden box. Um, it's $35,000 a bottle, and no doubt they'll sell loads of it. But I still don't get all this NFT stuff. I've I took a bit of time and I started to read up on this and kind of figured out what's going on. But it's still, why would you spend that amount of money on that when really, in terms of Scotch, it's maybe £5,000. Um, it's nuts.
There's Mark Kerr summed it up. NFTs and cryptocurrency, a bit like the Emperor's new clothes to me. Yes,
See,
that's
I have to agree with you, Mark. I don't understand the whole thing, and maybe it's just me being stupid. But when anybody's telling you the value of a currency in relation to what it is to other currencies, that's to the dollar essentially, then it's not really a currency, is it? It's basically something that's pegged to something else. Which sort of, how can something be worth something when it's only worth something in relation to something else?
it's your imagination.
Well, pretty much, you know.
Hmm.
So the whole the whole scheme of it to me seems very strange. But the fact that Diageo are released, and that's Diageo's big focus. You can tell when you're in Edinburgh, they've spent millions, absolute millions, on the Johnny Walker experience over in Princess Street. Um, the Johnny Walker experience, they've spent millions on it, and it's really, really, really well done. I mean, the rooftop bars, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, but they're doing this kind of thing. I mean, they're obviously going to jump on a bandwagon as soon as they see it because they think there's money in it. Um, so you have this uh, NFT stuff. I just don't get it. I don't. I just don't. Now, but let's do my the IPA stout. However, tailings and Waterford Green Spot have my hopes soaring for the Irish whiskey market. Ira, all I will say is there's loads of stuff that in Irish whiskey that I really, really, really like. Loads of stuff that I'm not too sure about, and loads of stuff that I think they could do a lot better. But when you're in Scotland and you see lots of the stuff that Scotland's doing, um, and continue to do, and have been continuing to do for a long time, I don't think Ireland would, Irish whiskey industry would be wrong in emulating some of the stuff that Scotland do. Stop trying to pretend you're in competition with them. because you're really not. Irish whiskey, if you take away Jameson, the Irish whiskey industry has a long way to go. A long way to go to catch up with these guys. So the confidence should be there, but in some ways it's probably a little bit false to say that you're ever going to catch up with Scotland just at the minute in terms of what you're doing.
So they should emulate rather than try to innovate in Ireland then, yes?
Well, Scotland have such a reputation, such a worldwide recognition that Ireland shouldn't really stand in competition, and they shouldn't. Ireland should have the confidence to turn around and say, "We're the Irish whiskey industry. We're not in competition with anybody as such. We are ourselves. We are a united front as such, and we're not going to beat this one. We're not going to do that. It's not a game of rugby. You know what I mean? It's we're slightly different. We're not dissimilar, but pretty much similar, and learn and go along with it. You know."
There we go. We'll let Gareth Spence have the last word tonight. Irish Whiskey has 10-year max stuff from the new era. As time goes on, there'll be more liquid, more knowledge, and more experience. Yes.
And the way to do it is probably look at Scotland and then have the confidence to say, oh no, we're quite happy to say that Scotland has held sway for a long time and will do for a long time. And we'll quite happy to help our cousins across the water, our brothers across the water, and a lot of the time even look over at the States, because there's more and more distilleries in the States, and they have huge visitor numbers at distilleries in the States. You know.
There you go. Great stuff. Thanks for watching again this week. More to come live 10 p.m. next week. Remember to comment, like, and share. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitch, we're on Telegram. We're also on wherever you get your podcasts from, Anchor, Spotify. Hit us up on buyusacoffee.com/Irish whiskey. And it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Good night, guys. Take care.
Great show as always. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.